Hi, I'm Andrew, and welcome to the Neon Knitter. So this is episode 7 of the Neon Knitter podcast. And, I've got a couple finished objects. I have a whip to share, and then I have some acquisitions. So, let's begin. I'm going to show my whips in chronological order of when I finished them. So I'm going to start with this one here. So this is my first finished object. I only have 2 finished objects today. This is the Diane Wrap by J. Beard. And I knit this using Skissel Summer Wind. The main color is 3755 and the contrast color is 3754. Yeah. And I don't remember the name of the website that I ordered the blue from, but the pink I got on eBay, because this yarn is discontinued. But yeah, it's Skissel Summer Wind. Really wish they hadn't discontinued this yarn, but yeah. And I don't remember the exact percentages of fiber content and all the fibers that are in it, because it's kind of a unique yarn, and I don't know what I did with the labels, but yeah, I'll definitely have that information on the screen, the yarn and the colors. But yeah, so I started this a couple years ago, and I was really into it, and I knit the whole thing, like literally I did all the blue, and then I did about 3/4 of the I-cord edging. And then after I got through about 3/4 of the I-cord edging, I just quit. I set it down. I don't know why. But then, a couple weekends ago was the Minnesota Yarn Shop Hop, which I could give the link down below to Kayla from Alt Knots. She also did the shop hop. She intended to film at every store, but she explained in the video why that didn't work out. So therefore, I didn't film at the stores because I figured Kayla would just be doing it. So because she lives in Minneapolis, so I live in St. Paul, so we both participate in the event. So yeah, so I'll at least link you to her video about the shop hop, even if she only has footage from one store and she explains why in the video. But yeah. But anyways, so because there's 12 stores and I normally take the bus to get places, I had to ask my dad for a ride to all the stores, and so he kindly drove me. However, in order to be able to fit all the stores in, because Thursday of the shop hop, my dad did actually have to work. So in order to fit all of them in, the first store I went to was the Yarnery, which is in St. Paul. And so I actually did take the bus to that one. And then the rest I got a ride to. And so I figured, it being a bus ride, it'd be simple enough for me to bring I-cord edging, right? So that's what I brought on the bus with me. And so I worked on this, and then I was working on it actually at the Yarnery as well. And then by the time I got home from the Yarnery, and I was waiting for my dad to get home to bring me to the next store, by then I had finished it. And so I don't know why I didn't just finish it initially when I was working on it. It's honestly kind of bothering me that I didn't just finish it. So yeah. So really glad that I got that done finally. So that is my Diane wrap. Yeah. So good to finally not not have this staring me in the face. And so that's something you wouldn't have seen on the podcast before because, again, a couple years ago just sat it down 3/4 of the way through my I-cord edging and didn't pick it up till a couple weeks ago. But yeah, then my second finished object, which is the last one I have to share, is obviously the big elephant in the room, my bubble sweater. So yes, my bubble sweater is finished. Very happy with it. I used Madeline Tosh Farm Twist. The contrast color of the orange is called Citrus, and the blue is called Ex-Boyfriend. And they still make Citrus, but big news, Madeline Tosh, for a limited time only, has brought back Ex-Boyfriend. At least I assume it's for a limited time only. Because I would think that if it wasn't limited time only, that they'd have it available on all of their bases, but no, Madeline Tosh is doing a special line of colors for Taylor Swift's tour. I don't know why they're doing a line of colors for Taylor Swift's tour, but anyways, they have certain colorways representing certain ones of her albums. And so, I don't remember the name of the album, but Ex-Boyfriend represents one of her albums, apparently. So, however, they didn't decide to have it available on Farm Twist. So, I'm technically still wearing discontinued yarn, because you can't get it on Farm Twist anymore. So, yeah, but I just thought it was really cool that they brought it back for a limited time. So now's your chance to go get Ex-Boyfriend on the basis they have it available on. Because there's several they don't. Like, they don't have it on Farm Twist, they don't have it on Impression, they don't have it on Woolen Cotton, they don't have it on ASAP, you know. And I didn't see it on Home either. But yeah, so, but I thought that was pretty cool. Excuse me. So, yeah. But otherwise, Madeline Tosh does make a very similar color called Arctic. But, yes, so this is Ex-Boyfriend and Citrus in Madeline Tosh Farm Twist. I suppose you want me to stand up and show you, so I'm going to do that. And then I will show you the back side. I hope it's all in frame because I can't see what I'm doing. The camera's behind me, but if you couldn't see the back well enough, then I have photos on my project page on Ravelry. And my Ravelry profile is in the link of all of my videos, or in the description of all my videos. So that is it for finished objects. Now I'm going to move on to whips. So I have numerous whips going right now, but I'm only going to show you guys the one that I'm actively working on. So, there's probably going to be another video coming out about this very soon, but I have picked up my twists and turns again, and now I'm working on that. And I am almost done with Clue 3. So, I think you guys remember that I had already done the first half of Clue 3, and yeah, so I'm almost done with the second half of Clue 3. And you guys remember that during the actual knit-along, I made videos about Clues 1 and 2 when I had finished them. So I do completely intend to actually finish that video series. So I'm going to make a Clue 3 video, and I'm going to make a Clue 4 video. And for the most part, I'm doing a pretty damn good job of still keeping this a mystery, I will say. I'm doing a pretty good job of keeping this a mystery. And, yeah, Now, to be honest, it's not a perfect science because when it's been when the knit along's in October and it is now April, um, yeah, photos are gonna come up on social media of the shawl, and you know, but do I sit and study them? No, I scroll right past them because I'm trying to keep this a mystery as best as I can. So I only kind of sort of know what Clue 4 looks like, but not really. Like I haven't zoomed in to study it, so I don't really know stitch patterns. I mostly don't know shaping and stuff. So yeah, so I only kind of sort of know because I've gotten like the 2 second version of, oh shoot, there's a photo, let me scroll away quick. You know, that kind of thing. So this year I'm going to try to hopefully just get the MCAL done and not procrastinate. That's my goal for this year. So, but yeah. So that is that. And I should probably tell you about my yarns because it's been a while, but if you want to know more about them in detail, go watch my MCAL 2022 intro video where I talk more about my yarns. But my main color and contrast color, I don't remember which is which, but the lighter color is, and both of them are from Pearl Talk. It is her Usoxy Thing base. Yes, Pearl Talk Usoxy Thing. Yeah, Pearl Talk Usoxy Thing. The lighter one is Damask Rose, and the darker one is Passionate Red. And then my accent color, this blue here, is um, Zitron Trekking in the colorway Suzanne. Um, yeah, so that is that. So I'm almost on with Clue 3, and then I will make a Clue 3 video. But here's where I'm at. Alright. Finally, we've got acquisitions. So, I did not buy any yarn at the yarn shop hop. However, I did find things I'd like to get, so I found an entire sweater's quantity's worth of yarn I'd like to buy, so that will be coming up soon, but I think I might have mentioned to you guys that I am currently on furlough from my job, so I can't currently afford lots of things, and so I saved some money for my vacation that I recently had. So yeah, you know, but hopefully in the middle of May I will be back to work. I'm not going to tell you guys what my job is, but just know that due to the nature of my job, I can't work in the winter. So, so my job is only 3 seasons out of the year. And so I was told potentially the middle of May I'll be back. And then after that, there might be a couple expensive acquisitions happening for some sweaters. So, but, and all the money I do have left, I am saving for a Sheep and Wool Festival coming up. So, which is why I got my Twists and Turns back out actually, because the event that I'm going to wear this to is less than 20 days away. So, yeah, that's the Shepherd's Harvest Sheep and Wool Festival. Yeah, I will maybe attempt to do a video at that, but yeah. So, I'll try to make a video at Shepherd's Harvest. And maybe next year I should try to do a shop hop video. Yeah, sorry that I didn't get one filmed this year. And I'm also gonna apologize, I didn't film at any of the yarn stores on my vacation. And yeah, I went to 3 yarn shops on my vacation, so Yeah, so a couple weeks ago I was in the Great Smoky Mountains in Tennessee and North Carolina. And the first store I went to, I couldn't film because my phone died. And then the second store I went to, it was kind of I needed to get in and get out because we had to be somewhere else too. And then the third store was just a little tiny store, and it was just, you know, so I didn't film at those stores, but in the future on vacations, I hope to get footage at yarn stores. Just, I managed to not do that this time, so apologies in advance, but I'm going to go in chronological order of when I got my acquisitions. So, the first yarn store I went to on my trip was Pearl's Yarn Emporium in Asheville, North Carolina. And I already knew what I wanted to get there because I had browsed their website ahead of time. And the guy that works at that yarn store, he's one of the owners. His name is Rick Shell. It's him and I believe his wife that own the store, and they both knit. So, he recently designed a honeycomb shawl called Honey from the Hive. And then he made up some kits and sold them at his store, and he has them on his website, pearlsyarnemporium.com, if you're curious. Go check that out. But that was so popular that he then designed another honeycomb shawl called Apples and Honey. So it's got apples and honeycombs. And I thought it was so beautiful that I had to buy a kit. So here it is. I have the kit for it. And they had two different yarn choices you could get the kit in. You could either get it in Barocco Remixed Light, or you could get it in Juniper Moon Farm Patagonia Organic Merino. And so I went with the Patagonia Organic Merino for mine. So I'm just going to pull this out of the bag so I can show you. But yeah, it was so beautiful that I absolutely had to have it. Yeah. I will maybe try to insert some pictures of the shawl on the screen here, but yeah. So the pattern is also available on Ravelry, so you can go and get it there. But yeah. So I'm not showing you these yarns in any particular order, other than I'm going to try to put these back in the bag in the same order that they were in. So I'm going to start with the one that was in the bottom of the bag, and then I'll work my way to the top. But yeah, this is Juniper Moon Farm Patagonia Organic Merino. It is 100% wool, 382 yards. I believe it is well, it says it's a 3-weight, but I think I saw somewhere that it said it was a sport. I don't know. But yeah, this is a pattern. The pattern says it calls for sport weight, but label says this is a lightweight 3 or a DK weight. I think Ravelry said sport, but I could be wrong. I know it's not fingering, so. But yeah, 382 yards, 100% wool. Yeah. And the color I have here is called Wasabi. This color is called Wasabi. And then the next one I have is called Cardinal this beautiful red. Then the next one I have is this yellow here. This one is called Mustard. And then, lastly, I have this, I'd call it a different shade of red, but in the pattern he describes it as pink. This one is called Rose. So those are the 4 colors that are in the kit. So yeah, I do at some point intend to cast that on. I don't know when. But I thought it was so beautiful that I absolutely had to buy a kit. Yeah, so. But yeah, let me just put this back in the bag that it came in so that it's all nice so I can put it back on my shelf. Because yeah, it came in this nice organza bag, so yeah, love that. And that was the only yarn I specifically knew I was going to buy before I went on the trip. So yeah, that was Pearl's Yarn Emporium in Asheville, North Carolina. Then the second yarn store I went to on the trip was the Smoky Mountain Spinnery in Gatlinburg, Tennessee. And here's what I got when I was there. I got some knitted width sock. It's really beautiful shades of blues and grays. Yeah, really beautiful blues and grays. And excuse me. And the color is called Great Smoky Mountains National Park, which is a perfect souvenir for my trip. Now, any store that carries knitted wick can carry this colorway. It's not exclusive to the Smoky Mountain Spinnery. However, the Smoky Mountain Spinnery had 2 cubby holes full of knitted wick yarn on their sock base, and it was just full of assorted colorways, so they had all sorts of different knitted wick colorways. And then they had 2 whole cubby holes just for the Great Smoky Mountains colorway. Now, I will say that the Smoky Mountain Spinnery, they have a website. They don't have an online store, however. So, I had no idea what they would have until I went. So, yeah, but it's definitely a nice yarn store, and if you're in the area, definitely worth checking out and stopping by and seeing what they have. But yeah, I thought this was a perfect souvenir for my trip because it's Great Smoky Mountains National Park. And yeah, so this is going to be part of a fade for the Eyelet Burst Shawl by Stephen West. So you guys might remember that I went to Hobby Lobby to get this yarn, which is Yarn Bee Authentic Hand Dyed in the colorway Wabi Sabi. It's going to be part of that fade. I currently have 3 skeins for that fade, and I need 4. I have decided not to put my little gray girl bio sock. The color is called Disturbia, if you're wondering. I have decided not to put this in the Walk-It Cowl like I originally said I would. The other 2 skeins that are going in the Walk-It Cowl that I already said are still going in there, but I decided I wanted higher contrast between my 2 variegated ones. And so this is going to be in this fade as well. So I think I'll try to find my 4th skein at Shepherd's Harvest potentially. Yeah. So that is so far what I have for the Eyelet Burst Shawl by Stephen West. So yeah. So I'll definitely show you guys that again once I get the 4th skein for that. And then my final acquisition, so then the third yarn store I went to on my trip was Terry's Yarns and Crafts. Yeah, it's called Terry's Yarns and Crafts in Sevierville, Tennessee. So, and they have a lot of commercial yarns. So I didn't really buy any souvenir yarn from the trip necessarily. And so this is yarn I probably could have just found at Joann's later, but I was at their store and I felt like I should support them while I'm there. And I felt kind of bad if I didn't make a purchase, you know. But they have a lot of commercial yarns and stuff that I can find elsewhere pretty easily. But anyways, I bought this anyways. I only grabbed one skein to show you because I have 7 skeins of this for a sweater. But this is Patton's Canadiana in the colorway Rainbow. So I bought 7 skeins and I'm going to make a sweater. I'm going to do Southwood by Galt House of Yarn, which is the same pattern as that gray sweater I did. I think I showed that off in one of my videos. If not, I will insert a picture of that sweater on the screen because it's the same pattern. And also the fact is that I got to model it on my trip, so that I will get to show you that photo. So yeah. But same pattern as the gray sweater I'm going to insert a picture of. That gray sweater was actually my very first sweater I ever made, so. But yeah. Same pattern. Southwood by Galt House of Yarn. So, yeah. So that is it for acquisitions. But again, like I said, I just didn't want to bring all 7 skeins down here with me because it didn't make sense to. Because they all look the same. So I only grabbed one of them. But yeah, I have 7 of these. So that's it for acquisitions. And so that is all I have to share with you guys. So, yeah, I'm Andrew. Thank you for checking in here at the Neon Knitter, and I will see you in the next video.